The night sky over New Kyoto burned with color. Purple streaks of aurora shimmered between the jagged ruins of old skyscrapers, relics from before the wars. The year was 2389, and Earth was still healing. Ethan Cole trudged through the rubble, rifle slung over his shoulder and a pack of med supplies on his back. He was a field medic for the United Terran Corps, assigned to a salvage and rescue mission on the city's outskirts. His boots crunched glass as he crossed what used to be a hospital. "Any survivors?" His partner's voice buzzed through the comms. "Just bones and dust so far," Ethan replied. "Scanning again." He swept his handheld bioscanner over a pile of debris. The device pinged faintly, life detected. Ethan froze. The signal was weak, faint as a dying heartbeat, but definitely not human. He moved fast, tearing away slabs of ferrocrete with his exogauntlet. The ground hissed as steam vented from melted metal. Finally, under a broken support beam, he found her. A woman, or at least she looked like one. Her skin shimmered faintly, like silver dust floating over moonlight. Faint bioluminescent veins pulsed along her arms. She wore armor unlike anything he'd ever seen. Sleek, organic, and fractured, leaking iridescent blood. Ethan knelt beside her, breath caught. Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes snapped open. They glowed with molten gold. For a second, Ethan saw fear, confusion, then pain. "Stay still," he said, opening his med pack. "You're bleeding out." Her voice was weak but commanding. "Do not touch me, human." He smirked faintly. "Yeah, that's not how this works." Ignoring her protest, he pressed sealant foam into her wound, stabilizing the flow of her strange, shimmering blood. The material hissed as it hardened. Her body trembled, but she didn't resist further. When he injected a dose of nanostim, she winced. "What are you doing?" "Saving your life." Her eyes fluttered, uncertain. "You shouldn't." Ethan's brow furrowed. "Why not?" "Because if I live," she whispered, "the galaxy will remember this moment." Then she fell unconscious. Middle, the warrior revealed. Ethan dragged her back to his camp in an abandoned subway station. He did his best to stabilize her. Patched the armor, kept her temperature stable, checked her pulse. For 2 days, she drifted in and out of consciousness. Sometimes she murmured strange words. "Chiron fleet, fall back, throne must stand." When she finally woke, her golden eyes locked onto him again. "You're still here. Not much of a rescuer if I ran off before you woke up." She studied him silently, then sat up with visible effort. "What world is this?" "Earth," Ethan said. "Terran system. You crashed here during the skirmish 2 nights ago." Her expression darkened. This world was supposed to be forbidden territory. "Well, we didn't get the memo." He smiled faintly. "You got a name, or should I keep calling you Silver Girl?" Her lips twitched, the closest thing to a smile he'd seen yet. "My name is Zara." She hesitated. "Zara of Vera." Ethan frowned. "Never heard of it." "You wouldn't have," she said softly. "Your kind was not meant to." Over the next few hours, she revealed fragments, bits of a story Ethan struggled to believe. The Verans were a warrior civilization spanning hundreds of systems, forged from centuries of conquest and honor duels. But an uprising had shattered them. Their Empress had vanished. Ethan guessed she'd been part of that war. Maybe a general, maybe a royal guard. "So what were you doing in our atmosphere?" "Running," she admitted. "From those who betrayed me." When she tried to stand, she winced, nearly collapsing. Ethan caught her before she fell. Her body was trembling, not just from pain but exhaustion. "I told you you're still weak," he said, steadying her. Her eyes softened. "You risk much for someone you do not know." Ethan shrugged. "You were bleeding out in the dirt. Didn't seem like a hard choice." For a long moment she just looked at him, as though she couldn't quite understand him. That night, while she slept, Ethan studied her armor more closely. Embedded in the plating was a crest, a swirling tri-star sigil with an intricate crown above it. His scanner recognized the symbol from old interstellar briefings. It was the royal seal of Vera. Ethan's chest tightened. Oh hell! Zara wasn't a soldier. She was the missing Empress. Rising tension, the hunters arrive. By the next morning, the skies above New Kyoto burned red again. Ethan woke to the sound of thunder. No, not thunder. Dropships. He scrambled to the surface. 3 alien crafts descended through the clouds, their hulls gleaming obsidian. They bore the same tri-star sigil, but painted over with crimson streaks. Zara appeared behind him, armor shimmering faintly. "They've found me. Your people. My usurpers," she corrected, voice sharp. "The ones who took my throne. Then we need to get you out of here." Ethan hurried to pack up supplies, but she stopped him. "You don't understand, human. They will not stop. They will burn this world to find me." "Then let them try," he said, cocking his rifle. "I've seen worse." Her gaze lingered on him, a strange mixture of awe and disbelief. "You would stand against them. For me." He nodded. "You're under my care. That's what medics do." She almost smiled. "Your courage borders on madness." "Yeah," Ethan said, loading a new magazine. "So does heroism." Moments later, the first strike hit. A beam scorched the old subway entrance, blasting molten glass across the street. Ethan dove behind cover, returning fire with his pulse rifle. Zara raised her arm, projecting a shimmering barrier. Energy arcs crackled as plasma bolts splashed against it. Her power was incredible. Even weakened, she held off 3 dropships worth of fire. But Ethan could see it draining her. Her hands trembled, the barrier flickering. "Zara!" he shouted. "You can't hold that forever." "I don't intend to," she said through clenched teeth. "Get down." She unleashed a burst of golden energy that tore through the air like a living sunbeam. The lead dropship exploded, scattering molten fragments. The others pulled back. Zara staggered, falling to her knees. Ethan caught her again. "You're killing yourself doing this." "They will not stop unless I end it," she gasped. "They will return with more. Then we run." She looked at him and nodded. Climax, the human and the Empress. They fled into the ruins as the sky filled with light again. Ethan guided her through tunnels, past crumbling highways, across cracked riverbeds. The alien fleet was scanning the surface, searching for her life signature. When they finally reached the old launch site, an abandoned Terran shuttle pad, Ethan opened a comm line to orbit. "Command, this is Cole. I need evac. 2 passengers." Static. Then a cold voice replied. "Negative, Cole. The alien with you is a Class 1 threat. Orders are to detain or eliminate." Ethan's blood ran cold. "She's not a threat. She saved my life down there. She's the reason our skies are burning, soldier. Stand down." Ethan looked at Zara. She met his gaze silently, regal even in exhaustion. "Go," she said softly. "They are right. My presence here endangers your people." "Not happening," Ethan said, jaw set. He turned back to the comm. "Command, if you want her, you'll have to come take her from me." Then he cut the line. Zara stared at him in stunned silence. You defied your leaders for me. Seems fair. You defied an empire for yourself. Something flickered in her eyes. Respect and maybe something warmer. You are unlike any being I've ever known. Before Ethan could answer, a rumble shook the ground. Another dropship descended, massive and bristling with weapons. Zara stepped forward. Go. I will end this. No, Ethan said firmly. We end this together. She looked at him, then nodded once. Side by side, they faced the incoming assault. Ethan fired with precision, taking down drones one by one. Zara unleashed blinding arcs of golden light, shattering enemy shields. A missile struck near them, throwing Ethan back. Pain lanced through his shoulder. Zara screamed his name. Energy flared around her, raw and unstoppable. She raised her hands, and a blinding explosion of light consumed the sky. When the dust cleared, the dropship was gone, vaporized. But Zara collapsed, her glow fading fast. Ethan crawled to her side, pulling her head into his lap. Hey, stay with me. Her breathing was shallow. My energy spent. Don't you dare die on me now, he said, pulling another injector from his pack. Her hand caught his wrist weakly. Ethan, listen. He looked down, eyes burning. I have ruled countless worlds, seen empires rise and burn, but no act of courage has ever equaled yours. Her golden eyes dimmed. You reminded me what it means to be human. Then with a faint smile she whispered, when they speak of me again, they will speak of us. Light enveloped her body, not death but transformation. Her wounds healed, armor repairing itself in streams of liquid light. When the glow faded, she rose, regal and radiant once more. Ethan blinked. She smiled. Restored. Your defiance awakened what I had forgotten, ending the promise of the stars. The alien fleet retreated. Days later, Terran Command found the ruins empty. No trace of the Empress, no sign of Ethan. But above the planet, a new signal was broadcast across the galaxy. A royal decree in hundreds of languages. The human race is under the protection of the Varen Empire. Harm them and face the wrath of Empress Zara. Months later, on a remote outpost at the edge of human space, a ship of pure silver landed. Ethan stepped out to meet it. Zara descended, her armor gleaming like the dawn. I told you, she said softly, smiling. The galaxy would remember. Ethan chuckled. Guess I should have listened. She reached out her hand. Come, human. Walk beside me among the stars. And as the ship lifted into the endless light of space, the medic who once saved a dying stranger vanished into legend. The man who healed the Empress of the galaxy.